Thanksgiving is done, the leftovers are dwindling, and that can only mean one thing with the holiday season in full swing. A Christmas Celtic Sojourn is just days away from returning for its 16th season. For the last 15 years, the live holiday edition of the WGBH radio show Celtic Sojourn has celebrated the holiday through storytelling, music, and dance. And this year, they're focusing on a theme that's as relevant as the story of Christmas as it is around the world today, the global refugee crisis. The show's host, the man, he's behind everything here, Brian O'Donovan, joins me now. Congratulations on 16, Brian.
Thank you very much, Jim. Great to be with you.
How'd this all start? What's the genesis of this deal?
Well, it started back unexpectedly, back in 2003 at the Somerville Theatre, in fact. I thought I would take the show that I had been producing for national distribution, a radio program. I thought I would take it to the stage, and I expected it to maybe happen once a year, one location. But it sold out very quickly and continued to build from there, and now it's 15 shows all of a sudden in 5 cities.
You know, when I first started working here, the first person I ever spoke to, I don't know if I ever told you this, so I said, how would you describe it? And she loved it. She said, you know, it's old-fashioned. And I thought she meant that in a pejorative way. She meant it in the most loving, expansive way. And you're nodding in agreement, so I guess you accept that too.
I'm proud of that, actually, that it is old-fashioned. I've always been a fan of vaudeville and old-fashioned variety shows. And I think this really comes back to that, and that's its value, really, that it is old-fashioned, it's simple. The Globe once said, I think interestingly, and they summed it up, they said when a lot of Christmas shows come on like Red Bull, this is like a cup of warm cocoa. And I took that as a great compliment.
I think you should take. So explain to people, we're going to play a little sound in a couple of minutes, but explain to people what they see and experience.
Well, what it is again, it's a gathering on stage that celebrates the fact that we're all together at this coldest time of the year. But it is a hopeful time, and we go around the Celtic world and indeed beyond. We don't confine ourselves to Celtic music or even holiday music or Christmas music. We just gather, and it's really a celebration of being together in terms of music and dance and songs and spoken word.
That's a perfect segue, because my favorite songwriter of all time is Joni Mitchell.
A good
and
choice.
Here is Ailith McCormick singing River by Joni Mitchell. Here it is.
Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river.
It takes a lot of courage to cover Joni Mitchell, but she does it beautifully.
She does a wonderful job, and that's a good example of the way it is in Ireland. I was growing up, is just singing a song in a gathering. It could be any song. It could be a sean-nós, an old-style Gaelic song, and that's what people might expect, or a ballad. But then you might hear a piece of Johnny Cash thrown in, or a good old country song, or a jazz standard. And there was what's called Ómas den Amhrán, the respect for the song, trumped any origin of that song, and that's the way we put it together.
And often the audience is involved. And speaking of Ailith McCormick, here's her effort to do a call and response thing at one of the Celtic Christmas sojourns. Here it is, right here.
Love and joy come to you. Love and joy come to you. It'd be really good if you were in time.
It's pretty great. And by the way, I know you're a humble kind of character. This is a family affair, too. You're not, what do you call yourself, the curator of this thing?
I'm the curator. I'm the host. Really, I'm the affable guy, the old guy with the grey beard that says, come on in and have a beer.
But you perform, too, as do members of your family, and you have for years, yes?
Yes, it definitely is a family affair. And again, it reflects our kind of principle, really, of having an open door at Christmas time and allowing people to come in and just join in whatever we're up to.
Did I go too far when I said in the beginning about the crises that we're facing every single moment in the world? I mean, they are integrated in how you envision these things every year, are they not?
Very much so, Jim. And really, when I look at the Christmas story and how this holiday emerged, it emerged as a kind of a counterbalance to a very dark time. You know, its origins are agricultural, really. Mm-hmm. At the darkest time, people were gathering together to kind of say, are we okay? And I think early Christianity really superimposed itself on that very appropriately, because the birth of Jesus was one of hope, one of saying, okay, there's something out there that we can be optimistic about. about. So we reflect that, really. It's a feeling of warmth and humanity. And of course we can't ignore what's happening in the world, what's happening in the world generally. And if you think of it, the story of Christmas, the story of the Holy Family wandering around is one of homelessness, one of not being welcomed at the inn. It's one of lowly birth in a stable. They are homeless people, they are travelers, they are refugees. So we reflect that spirit as well. Not in a heavy-handed way, but in one that celebrates the time of year.
Speaking of spirit, can you just watch a little dancing from one of
your
previous shows
dancing.
And tell people what we are watching? Here it is. I just cannot believe people can do this, by the way, especially kids. What are we watching?
We're watching two kids that came from the Harney Academy of Irish Dance in Walpole. They're an award-winning institution down there. Aren't they just amazing? And again, this is the warmth of the event. It's basically, how can you beat kids dancing, just a celebration of childhood, of children at Christmas time. And these guys, not alone are they cute as all get out, that's indisputable, but they have the dancing chops to go along with it. They're really
do that too. You do that as well?
I do not do that.
Did you do that when you were a kid?
I did not do it when I was a kid.
Can you look at me and tell the truth? I want you to look into my eyes and say you never did that?
I did not do it. We refused to put on those kilts. There was a whole range of reasons why.
What are we going to see you doing on stage? I know you don't like talking about you, but I want to talk about you for 20 seconds. What are we going to see you doing on stage?
I sing a little bit, usually in groups, but I do love to bring my favorite poetry, my spoken word, and I write a piece every year that's inspired by Dylan Thomas's Child's Christmas in Wales. It's called A West Cork Christmas, and I write it every year, especially for this show, and I enjoy bringing some memories and some reflections of my time growing up in Ireland.
Can I tell you, I cannot wait this year. I will be there. I'm really looking forward to it.
Looking forward to having you with us.
Congratulations yet again. Everybody I've ever spoken to who's been there has loved every minute. The show again is a Christmas Celtic Sojourn. You can catch it in Boston, in Worcester, in Rockport, in New Bedford, and Providence, Rhode Island, starting December 12th. For more information, you visit wgbh.org/Celtic.